Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today I'm going to explain a family drama movie called Wonder. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie opens as a 10-year-old kid named August Pullman play dresses as an astronaut in his room. He has many hobbies like any other 10-year-old kid. He likes to ride his bike, play Minecraft, lightsaber fight with his father, and particularly dreaming about outer space. But August, or Auggie as he is lovingly called, is also aware that he is not an ordinary 10-year-old kid. In fact, not even his birth was ordinary. In his own words, Auggie describes his birth as hilarious. His father had a full-on video camera inside the delivery room, while an inexperienced doctor helped his mother through her labor. When he finally came into this world, it was like the punchline of a joke had arrived. Auggie was born with severe disabilities, thanks to a rare disease called Treacher-Collins syndrome. The doctors had to operate on him 27 times so that he could breathe properly, see properly, and hear without using an aid. But none of these surgeries could make him look like an ordinary person. His face is severely deformed thanks to his condition, as well as all the scars from the surgeries. Oftentimes, the poor boy uses humor to describe his life, but it is obvious that deep down, he wishes he could be different. Other kids run away when he goes to the playground, and people stare at him no matter where he goes. Auggie also mostly wears an astronaut helmet just to hide his face from the others. Meanwhile, he lives in Brooklyn with his parents, Isabel and Nate, and his older sister, Olivia. The Pullman family also has a dog named Daisy. One evening, he hears his mother and father having an argument. It is revealed that Auggie has been homeschooled until the age of 10. His mother Isabel now wants to send him to a nearby private school from the beginning of grade 5, but his father Nate doesn't think it's a good idea. Auggie has lived most of his childhood inside his home, away from social interaction. Nate argues that sending him to school would be like sending a lamb to the slaughterhouse. However, Isabel argues that they cannot homeschool their son forever. He has to go out and face the world someday. The more they delay, the more he will struggle. A week later, Isabel accompanies Auggie to his first school, Beecher Preparatory Middle School. They are warmly received by the principal, Mr. Tushman, who is a friendly man with a sense of humor. He sees Auggie nervous, so he cracks a joke about his name. The principal points out that students call him Tushy, or even Mr. Buttface, a wordplay on his name. This makes the new student laugh and elevates some pressure off of him. Following this, the mother-son duo sit with Principal Tushman in his office for a conversation. He gives them a summary of their academic calendar, which includes a science fair as well as a visit to a nature reserve in Pennsylvania. He is well aware that Auggie has deep interest in science and hopes that these two highlight events will encourage him. But that is not the only thing that Principal Tushman has prepared for Auggie. He has also called in 3 grade 5 students to help him get familiar with his new surroundings. This makes the poor boy nervous, and he asks his mother if it would be a good idea to meet other students so soon. But Isabel calms him down and reassures him that everything will be all right. Soon afterwards, Auggie is introduced to Jack, Julian, and Charlotte, 3 of his new classmates. The kids greet him kindly, but Auggie has experienced far too many awkward introductions to know better. He fully realizes that the 3 of them are trying their best not to look weirded out. So, the poor boy does what he has always done while meeting new people: avoid eye contact and look downwards. Auggie also deduces their family background from the kinds of shoes that they wear. He thinks Julian is a trust fund baby, Jack is probably the youngest child in a middle-class family, and Charlotte is a slightly overly energetic kid. Principal Tushman then tells the 3 kids to show Auggie around the school and come back to his office a half an hour later. However, this innocent introduction soon turns into a social nightmare for Auggie. Charlotte comes across as a chatty extrovert who keeps talking about herself. She has been working as a child actor for several years now and is featured in some huge projects. The boys mostly stay silent as she bombards them with information, but it is Julian who is rude and obnoxious off the bat. He treats Auggie like a mentally underdeveloped person by mockingly explaining even the simplest of things. He then bluntly asks if Auggie has been in a car accident or a fire accident during his childhood. This rude behavior surprises both Charlotte and Jack, and the latter defends the new student from the barrage of insults. Later that night, at dinner, Auggie tells his father about Julian. Nate sympathizes with his son, but sternly tells him to fight back. The next morning, Auggie is accompanied to his first first day of school by his entire family. Dad even gives him a man-to-man talk to lift up his spirits. Later, Auggie receives awkward stares from his classmates, but he courageously braves through it. Julian also continues to make fun of his condition throughout the day. However, Auggie finds support through his teacher, Mr. Brown, who encourages him to participate in class. Meanwhile, at home, Isabel finally begins to continue her master's dissertation, which she wasn't able to pursue after Auggie was born. That night at dinner, Mom and Dad force Auggie to open up about his first day at school, but the kid only gets irritated and storms out. Isabel then follows Auggie to his room, only to see him break into tears. He asks his mother why he had to be so ugly and hideous like a monster. Isabel comforts him and says that what matters is one's heart, for it's permanent, while our beauty fades away. Nate also joins soon after, and the two manage to cheer the boy up. However, their daughter Olivia begins to feel neglected as days pass by. She feels that Auggie is the sun, while she and her parents are the planets orbiting around him. Olivia nevertheless loves her brother, and she loves how their universe works. Growing up, she never asked her parents for help with homework, and did most of her studying in waiting rooms and hospitals. She also knows that her family loves her, too. But ever since her grandma died, Olivia feels that her best friend Miranda is the only person who knows her. The sad thing is that Miranda also begins to avoid her after returning from a summer camp. She has colored her hair pink and has made new friends at school. Fortunately, Olivia also meets a boy named Justin who shows interest in being friends with her. He is a theater student and even convinces her to sign up for the school drama. Meanwhile, Auggie begins to form a friendship with Jack after helping him in a surprise test. He even invites him over to his home, offering to help him with science. However, they end up sword fighting and playing all evening. They eventually become close friends, and Jack becomes a regular at the Pullman's house. On the other hand, Olivia gets close to Justin, but she lies to him about being the only child in her family. One day, she arrives home really late. When Isabel asks where she was, Olivia reveals that she went to Coney Island, where her grandmother used to take her as a child. This finally makes the mother realize that Olivia feels neglected. Thus, she decides to spend quality time with her on the Halloween weekend. Meanwhile, Auggie decides to dress as Ghostface for Halloween. It's his favorite holiday because when he's wearing a costume, he's able to walk through the school normally, as his face remains hidden. However, upon entering his classroom, he sees Jack speaking to his friends, including Julian and a few other boys. Auggie, who remains unrecognized due to his mask, is dismayed to hear them making fun of him behind his back. Jack's comment about how he would end his life if he looked like Auggie hurts him the most. As the days go on, the mean comments get to the poor boy and he falls sick. Principal Tushman immediately contacts Isabel, who has to leave the mother-daughter hangout with Olivia to pick him up. She brings him back home, but Auggie refuses to go trick-or-treating. Olivia, on the other hand, is hurt after being ditched again, but despite this, she goes over to cheer her younger brother up. She tells him about Miranda, who started avoiding her after she returned from summer camp. Auggie is surprised to learn that even a normal kid has bad days at school, and he finally agrees to go trick-or-treating with her. From that day onward, Auggie begins avoiding Jack completely. The latter tries to ask him the reason, but Auggie refuses to speak a word. During lunchtime, a little girl named Summer decides to give him company after seeing him alone. Auggie is suspicious of her intentions, but Summer assures him that she just wants to sit with him because she wants nice friends for a change. She then asks him about Jack, and Auggie confides in her about the betrayal. Meanwhile, Justin and Miranda get selected for the lead roles in the school's production of the play Our Town. Olivia only gets selected to be Miranda's understudy, but she's fine about that. She also starts dating Justin and finally comes clean to him about her brother. Later, Olivia takes him home to meet her family. Justin turns out to be a chill guy, and he treats Auggie with the utmost kindness. He also tells Olivia that he understands her situation and will never judge her. As the days pass on, Miranda begins to regret distancing herself from her best friend. She calls Auggie and asks him to tell Olivia that she misses her. The two girls have been friends since kindergarten, and their friendship even helped Miranda cope with her parents' separation. The reason for her sudden cold behavior towards Olivia is also finally revealed. Miranda had signed herself up for the summer camp to keep herself entertained. Her father is always busy with his new wife, while her mother is busy getting over the divorce. At the summer camp, she adopted Olivia's fun and cool personality, which made her very popular there. However, when she returned home from the camp, she felt inferior and started avoiding her best friend. On the other hand, Auggie becomes really close to Summer over the holiday season. Jack also tries to talk to Auggie several times, but our boy refuses to listen. Left with no options, Jack turns to Summer, and she finally tells him about his wrongdoings. She reveals how he talked crap about Auggie and humiliated him in front of other classmates. Upon hearing this, Jack finally realizes his mistake and promises to make it up to his old friend. He even agrees to be partnered with Auggie instead of Julian for the science fair. However, this news doesn't go well with Julian, and he confronts Jack during recess. Julian simply cannot understand why anyone would want to partner up with someone with such facial deformity. He asks Jack to switch teams and obnoxiously calls Auggie a freak in front of everyone. Surprisingly, Jack responds by angrily punching him across the face. The two boys then get into a scuffle right in the middle of the school's lobby. They are soon separated by Mr. Brown, but Jack, being the aggressor, is taken to the principal's office. In the aftermath of this event, he writes an apology letter to Principal Tushman. He acknowledges that he started the fight, but refuses to reveal why he did it. He simply accepts whatever punishment he will have to face. However, the principal responds by saying that he understands why Jack got into the scuffle. He even encourages his student to be a morally good person who stands up to bullies. Nonetheless, Tushman is forced to suspend Jack for 2 days as punishment for his loss of temper. Meanwhile, at the Pullman household, the tension between daughter and the parents comes to a boiling point. Isabel and Nate express their disappointment over Olivia not inviting them to her school play. She, however, takes her parents by surprise and lashes out at them. The frustration of losing her best friend, as well as years of feeling like an unimportant child, finally all comes out. Olivia asks her mother if she is interested in her play, only because she has nothing to do during the daytime. But this enrages Isabel, and she tells Nate to go away as she wants to have a one-on-one conversation with her daughter. The scene then shifts to later that evening, and we don't see what the mother and daughter talked about. However, they seem to have reconciled their differences. Olivia even comforts her brother and promises that her whole family will go to the event. A few days later, the opening night of the play arrives. Miranda, who is the lead actress of the show, sees Olivia's family in the crowd. She has been feeling incredibly guilty for ignoring her best friend ever since summer camp. So, to make up for her bad behavior, Miranda feigns illness. She then suggests Olivia fill in for her role. After all, the latter had been practicing as her backup actor for the past few weeks. Olivia accepts the offer without hesitation and puts on an incredibly moving performance. This earns her a standing ovation from the crowd. After the play, Miranda approaches Olivia and reveals the reason for her cold behavior. The two friends then put away their misunderstandings and reconcile. Later that week, Auggie and Jack make a camera booth for their science project. The judges and the other students love the device, and the duo wins first prize. Gradually, the other students begin to realize that Auggie is simply a normal kid just like them, and all he had to do was make it clear that he's smarter than all of them. His popularity and circle of friends starts growing because of this, but Julian and his group still bully him out of spite. One day, Mr. Brown finds Auggie holding the class photograph that had been stuck to his locker. On its backside is a disturbing message that reads, "Do everyone a favor and end your life." On top of that, Auggie has been intentionally photoshopped out of the picture. Mr. Brown is shocked by the incident, so he immediately takes action and starts interrogating the students. He soon comes to know that it was Julian who was behind all of this. That evening, Julian's parents are summoned to the principal's office. Mr. Tushman tells them about the picture and the school's zero-tolerance policy on bullying. Turns out Julian had brought the class photograph home and given it to his mother. She was the one who photoshopped Auggie out of the picture, as she didn't want her guests to talk about the facially deformed kid. Julian then stole that particular photograph from his mother's room and stuck it to Augie's locker. She further states that their financial donations to the school should supersede any suspension. However, Principal Tushman is persistent and refuses to let bribes or threats influence his decision. This leaves Julian's parents with no option but to take him out of Breacher Preparatory Middle School and admit him elsewhere. A few days later, Auggie and his class, along with grades 6 and 7, head to Pennsylvania for their annual school trip. But things begin to turn sour once they reach their destination. A group of 7th grade bullies antagonizes Auggie and Jack, calling them all sorts of names. The situation gets even more heated as the duo attempts to fight back. The bullies easily overpower them, and it looks like our heroes are in trouble. But then, a group of grade 5 students appears and defends their friends, and all of them end up beating the crap out of their seniors. After this intense scuffle, the grade 5 students retreat to the edge of a nearby lake. The boys high-five Auggie, and he becomes emotional at the kindness that he is receiving, especially from the former bullies. 3 days later, later, when Auggie returns home, he looks visibly stronger and happier. In no time, that year's graduation ceremony arrives. Auggie is felicitated with the Henry Ward Beecher Medal for his strength and courage throughout the school year. He bravely comes to the stage and thanks his mother for enrolling him in school during his speech. The movie ends with everyone cheering Auggie as he delivers a voiceover. He quotes the last precept Mr. Brown gave in class, asking his students to be kind to everyone. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.